You send a text to a friend, and they reply with a single sentence ending in a period, not an exclamation point, just a flat, blunt dot. For a lot of us, that tiny punctuation mark kicks off an immediate spiraling panic. We start sweating, wondering exactly what we did wrong. To understand why a text message can make us feel like we're in physical danger, the psychologist Paul Gilbert suggests looking at how our biological threat responses compare to the rest of the animal kingdom. Think about a zebra escaping a lion. The moment the lion gives up and wanders away, the physical threat is gone. The zebra's nervous system immediately resets. It drops right back to a baseline state of calm and goes back to eating grass. Humans, however, have a highly evolved new brain capable of rumination. We can replay past events and simulate future ones. That means we can trigger our body's survival alarms when we are sitting perfectly safe in our living rooms. Because of this biological miscalibration, we end up treating minor social slights, like that missing exclamation point, as life or death threats. We keep our bodies flooded with stress hormones long after the danger has passed, or when it never actually existed. When that survival alarm rings, most of us are familiar with the three main sympathetic nervous system reactions: fight, flight, and freeze. But there is a fourth, highly common trauma response that flies under the radar: fawn. Fawning is the unconscious act of moving toward a threat. Instead of fighting or running away, a fawning brain tries to appease, soothe, and please the source of danger in order to survive it. If you spend your days hyper-attuned to the emotional shifts of everyone around you, you might think you just have an easygoing, agreeable personality. But chronic people-pleasing is actually a genius, exhausting biological alarm system. It's your body doing exactly what it was designed to do: keep you alive. This survival software rarely arrives through a single, explosive trauma. It is more often a slow build process. It stems from complex trauma, the result of thousands of micro-moments in a childhood home environment that was consistently tense, volatile, or emotionally neglectful. For a trapped child, the logic is flawless. If fighting back escalates the danger, and running away physically isn't an option, appeasement becomes the most effective path to safety. Children adapt to chaos by adopting highly specific roles. Some become the peacekeeper, constantly mediating arguments. Others become the caretaker, dedicating all their energy to managing the unpredictable moods of the adults around them. Our nervous systems operate on a simple rule: whatever feels familiar is interpreted as safe. So the appeasement strategies that protected you at age 8 harden into an unconscious, rigid blueprint for how you navigate every relationship as an adult. This survival pattern extends far beyond the family home. It's built into the way we navigate the world at large. In environments with sharp power imbalances, like patriarchal or white dominant cultures, marginalized people often find that fawning is a prerequisite for safety. When survival depends on the approval of a gatekeeper, the instinct to appease becomes an economic and physical necessity. Society actively rewards this trauma response. We provide praise, positive feedback, and promotions to people pleasers. We take the act of self-abandonment and label it as selflessness. But while you might be receiving praise at work, this perpetual high alert takes a severe physical toll. It leads to chronic fatigue, shallow breathing, and a completely overtaxed adrenal system. We find ourselves trapped in a cultural loop that demands and rewards the exact survival mechanism that silently erodes our mental and physical health. Breaking this cycle requires a deeply uncomfortable question. The next time you hold your tongue to keep the peace, ask yourself, are you actually being nice to this person, or are you just afraid of them? Performative niceness is a self-serving defense mechanism. We use it to carefully control other people's perceptions of us and avoid the discomfort of conflict. True compassion is different. Compassion requires authenticity and clear boundaries, which often means addressing an issue directly, even if it causes short-term friction. This leads to a profound irony. In the effort to avoid being abandoned by others, fawners inadvertently abandon themselves. True intimacy becomes impossible if you are constantly acting as a chameleon. You can never be genuinely loved by someone if you never allow yourself to be accurately seen. Because fawning is a physiological process rooted in your nervous system, you cannot simply think your way out of it. You have to physically prove to your body that it is safe. Physical regulation begins with the breath. Deep, diaphragmatic breathing signals your vagus nerve to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, breaking the adrenaline loop. Healing requires recognizing that the environment has changed. You have the power to update your outdated survival software because you are no longer the trapped child you once were. You are not broken. You simply need to realize that the phantom lion has finally left the room, and it is safe to stop surviving and start living.